A couple weeks ago, two French doctors went on TV and suggested that Africa could be used as a testing ground for a solution to the coronavirus situation that's happening around the world. That created a lot of uproar. A loud and crazy African community came out and complained about it, saying we are not rat lab. In this video, I'm going to share with you how that's nothing new. This has been happening for years, but more importantly, how you and I can come up with a solution to put a stop to it, or at least to control it. Stay tuned. Hey, what's up? My name is Aris and welcome to Diaspora Achievers. In this channel, I take the African diaspora on a journey to creating businesses that contribute to the development of Africa, change the African narrative, and helps you becoming truly financially free. So if you're new here and want to be part of this journey, here are your first two steps. First, go ahead and click on the subscribe button, as well as hit on the notification bell so that you never miss another video that you need to get closer to your goal to succeed building Africa. The second step is for you to go in this description box below and get yourself a free copy of the ebook that I put together for you, which contains the top reasons why Africans fail when building businesses, or essentially the obstacle that they face when trying to build businesses in Africa and over here in the diaspora, as well as the reason why building businesses is the best tool that we have to impact Africa, and last but not least, ways that you and I can go in and change the African narrative around us right now. So two French journalists went on TV and they were debating the COVID-19/coronavirus situation and suggested that as we're looking for a solution, why don't we go to Africa and test those solutions? So a lot of people went crazy about it, and a lot of comment on social media, a lot of essentially a lot of discussion around it, right? So what was interesting is that this is nothing new, right? This is happening for years, for decades, and even centuries. I'm just going to give you two examples. One is in South Africa, Rhodesia, which is the area around Zimbabwe and South Africa, all that region. Throughout the 80s, there were programs designed to try out different medicines or remedies or vaccines against AIDS. A lot of people were contaminated. A lot of kids, babies were born and they had AIDS as they were born, so they contracted AIDS essentially. So that's nothing new. Another example, which is one that you probably heard, in 1996 in Nigeria, meningitis was a big deal. Pfizer went out there and ran a bunch of tests, which put a lot of people in the region in bad condition, right? There were a long trial between the families, the government, and Pfizer. Long story short, around 2009, Pfizer had an agreement, they paid the government, but from what I understand, the families never really got their piece of it, but I'm gonna leave it as that. All I'm trying to tell you is that this is nothing new. This has been happening in Africa for a long time. So let's leave the emotions aside, let's leave how feelings aside and look at the practicality of things. When there's an issue health-wise, when there's a virus, there needs to be research, there needs to be development, there needs to be testing. No one, you, myself, any head of state will allow that any company releases a drug that's not tested to the public. We don't know the side effects, we don't know anything. You would not want it, I wouldn't want it. Testing needs to happen. Now, depending on where you are in the world, the rules, regulations are different. I'll give you a personal example. When I was in university, from time to time there were tracks, there were flyers, there were people call in and asking me, hey, we're running this trial, do you want to come in and offer your body essentially to see, what side effects and all that good stuff. Now, what made it attractive was that the reward was always around the $1,500, $3,000, $4,000, whatever the case may be, right? Because they knew that it was dangerous and they wanted kind of to attract and to give you an incentive. Obviously, as a student, that's an attractive proposition. But on top of it, they documented the risk. You had to go in and sign a waiver, and then you had insurance, and then you were basically taken care of for a long time. That's over here in Canada. If you were to scale that up to, let's just say they need 1,000 people, you could do the math. Actually, I didn't get into something that's really important. Those $2,000 to $4,000 is your paycheck. That doesn't take into consideration what they need to pay to the physicians, to the teams, and everybody else. I came across a research that basically said that typical testing for a drug could range for $40,000 per subject. The subject is basically you and I, somebody who goes in and get tested. Can you imagine if you multiply that by 100 or 1,000 folks, how much that would cost? And that's just the testing. That doesn't take into account going back into the lab, doing another round of R&D. So obviously, it's very expensive. Obviously, it takes a lot of resources. Now, what these guys are trying to do is figure out where and how they could cut costs. Because in Africa and in the third world countries, legislation, the institution is so weak, and obviously people are poor, they could basically do whatever they want and get by through corruptions, to weak institutions, to influences, etc. So that's the reality. We need testing. They need to figure out where to do it for cheap. The question that I have for you now is, are they going to Africa because it's a racism thing, we are black, or are they going to Africa because we are poor? Let me run a scenario to you. If Africa was the richest continent in the world, if Africa was full of black folks, as it is today, but the wealthiest continent in the world, and North America was the poorest, full of white folks, do you think that those companies will still go to Africa? I don't think so. And case in point, during that same footage, that same interview, they basically suggested that they could go to Africa or to Eastern Europe, as they are doing. So they're already doing that in Eastern Europe. And we know that Eastern Europe is a lot poorer than Western, and institutions down there are a lot weaker. So in my mind, it's not really a racism thing, which leads me to the solution that I had mentioned to you earlier. Imagine African community in the diaspora, or let the diaspora alone, in the United States of America. We knew that there is one body that is dedicated to serving the interests of Africans, not just through reporting, not just through journalism, not just through reporting, but we had the power, financial power, to influence the decision makers. What if we had a strong lobby that gives every year $10-20 million to the different political parties to protect their interests? I bet you that would make a big difference, right? So as far as I know, there's no strong, powerful lobby that is dedicated to protecting the Africans' interests. And if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. Maybe in your country, you have a strong community. I'm not talking about one person, community that basically protect and serve Africans. I'll share with you two personal stories. The first one, the person who introduced me to that interview where the two French doctors were basically going back and forth and talking about Africa as a potential rat lab, if you will, introduced me to that footage, and I asked him, hey man, what do you think you and I could do about it? And then his answer to me was, well, nothing as usual, what can we do? I basically pushed him a little bit, and I quickly realized that he didn't even want to be engaged. In his mind, and that's just me guessing it, he was pointing fingers at other people who could be doing it. And to me, that's a problem. You and I can do things, but we're always looking at others to do stuff. A second example, I was a DJ out here in Toronto a couple of years ago, and at some point we realized that all the African community was scattered. You have the Nigerians, you have the Ghanaians, you have the Congolese, different communities. So we decided to all get together, promoters, entertainers, DJs, to figure out how can we collectively come up with a structure that will make us powerful. As an example, every time we had an artist in town, every time we were throwing a big event, we had to go out and rent a locale, a location, a venue to somebody. Just an example too, the Ukrainian community, they do have a community center, but as far as I know, no African country or let alone community has a community center. So that's that for that. So we basically got together, we were saying, hey, we need to figure something out, what should we do? And quickly, probably within the first 15 to 20 minutes, folks started asking, what is in it for me? If we, do this thing, what am I gaining as an entertainer, as an MC, whatever? So there you go. It's an example, a second example that we are having a hard time getting together. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you can let me know in the comment that no, in my country, in my community, in my whatever, we work together and we are able to do something. But let me just give you the benefit of the doubt and say, yes, you're right. We need something bigger scale. We can't just rely on a small community, even if it's a country based or whatever. We need something that brings us all together as the African community. Can you imagine if that doctor was to say, replace the word Africa with Israel? Can you imagine if that doctor said, let's go out in Israel and try those drugs or whatever they wanted to try? I bet you that building would probably collapse, or there will be a power outage by magic right there and then, right? Because you know what would happen. So that's just another sign to tell you that we need to get together and be powerful, not with our mouth, but with our pocket, if we really truly want to make a difference. Another way to go about it is to build businesses. Build businesses that do make a difference. If you don't want to get together as unit, at least if you build businesses, we can work together as businesses and go in and make donations to those politicians. So my question to you today is, what is stopping us from forming a lobby? But more importantly, how do you think we should get together to form a lobby that is dedicated to protecting and serving African interests? If you like this video, if you want more content on YouTube for the African diaspora, smash that like button and go in and share this video with somebody you know that cares about Africa and that truly really want to make an impact. Peace out.